Today we're going to be talking about why newer guitarists get buried in the mix. And really it's a matter of tone and frequency that's causing the issue. And I've experienced it firsthand, not just in a worship context, but in a live band context outside of the church. But in my experience, if you're playing electric on a worship team, or if you're about to start to, there are things that there's going to be a learning curve. Like there's going to be things that nobody tells you. But you don't have to learn the hard way like I did, right? I've led worship for years and I played guitar for over 30 years. And so these are 5 things that I wish that I had known or somebody had showed me without taking like years and years for me to figure out. By the end, you'll avoid the mistakes that make sound techs cringe and worship leaders kind of subtly turn you down in their mix if you're wearing in-ear monitors. So right now I have my usual rig set up. I'll show you in a few minutes, but I'm playing through a PRS with 2 humbuckers, which means that just off the bat, they're mid-push, they're mid-focus naturally, being humbuckers. I can split the coils here, but I won't do that for this example. So here's my relatively clean tone. So it's got a little more than edge of breakup going on. It's a little dirty, but I'll show you guys this in a second. But I'm going to click on my first gain stage here, which is a Morning Glory by JHS. So there you can hear that there's definitely some more gain, some more drive on it, but that's a transparent drive, which means that it doesn't color the sound, right? It doesn't manipulate the EQ of your guitar signal at all. So that's what they usually mean when they say transparent overdrive. Now, if I click on the Herculean drive from Mythos, you'll see that the mid is pushed. Right, so that's got a much more mid focus. I think it's lower mids. I think it's a Klon style circuit. But here's the thing. Your bedroom tone that you dial in at home, no matter what your rig is, mine's pedals now into a Tonex, but originally I started in the worship context with a Helix, and I would dial it in at home. I would use headphones to do that, and sometimes I would use a small speaker, but it would sound so good when I was playing by myself. But that's not how we do things, right? That's not what a worship context is. That's not what a band or a team situation is. You're not playing as a solo act. So, everyone dials in tone at home and falls in love with it, and then they come in on Sunday, and you put in your in-ears, or even just go front of house, and you're like, this doesn't sound good. So the thing is that a full band occupies the full register, for the most part, of what human ears can perceive. Right, so the low end is your bass, your kick drum, stuff like that, and the sparkle and the presence and the brilliance as cymbals. Sometimes it's higher strings on a guitar, and the mid range is just dominated by keys, acoustics, rhythm guitars, and vocalists. And so you're going to have to find a way to work in and through that sonically, right, with your frequencies. So what we usually do is push the lower or the upper mids. That's how we can usually poke out in the mix with our tone. So when you play at home, you're going to play a progression, right? Like you're going to think, wow, that sounds good. Yeah, I'm going to use that on Sunday morning. So while it might sound good at home, it's not going to sound good in the mix. Right? You're going to need some frequency manipulation. Even an EQ pedal just on its own will help you with that. So you can cut gain and push mids to achieve that spot in the mix and serve the song. Next, second point is that you are texture in the band. You're not the star. Unless you're taking a solo, you're just adding texture. Right? So the electric's job is to play lead lines, do swells, pads sometimes, single note, double note, or octaves even. And I like to play triads too. But if you're duplicating the acoustic with chords like lower chords or cowboy chords, one of you is going to be unnecessary in that mix. And it's probably not going to be the acoustic. It's going to be what you're doing down here. Right? And so if I'm playing in my ears or I'm listening in the congregation, I'm going to be honing in on the one that makes more sense. So keep that in mind, not just with your tone, but with what parts you're playing too. You want to complement. Again, you want to be serving the song, adding to it. Number 3, your sound tech, the person running audio, is your teammate, or even think of them as a bandmate. All right, I actually run audio as well sometimes. And when I run audio, I look at the soundboard as my instrument that I'm playing with the band. So the reality is the person at the controls of that board, they're tweaking and manipulating everything that the room hears, and the room is taking priority. So fighting them with stage volume and just trying to crank your amp more and push through that way with decibels is not going to win. So introduce yourself to the tech. Ask them what they need from you. Keep your volume and your gain modest, and then just manipulate your EQ. I try to send the sound tech a pure signal that he can just easily work with and have to just do minor tweakings for the room that we're in. Look at that as an opportunity to collaborate, right? And then you won't hear, hey, can you turn it down a little bit? No, you'll just have your place in the mix with minor tweaking. Number 4, learn the parts to a song, learn the parts to a recording, and then be ready to drop them. Right? You don't have to come in, even though you may have learned the song or the album note for note, and you learn the hooks note for note, that be ready on Sunday morning to just pull back, or again, exercise restraint and serve the song. It's good to learn all those things and to learn it note for note, but that doesn't mean you have to play it that way. You're not committed to playing it that way. Right? Album parts are written for a recording's instrumentation, but yours might vary week to week, team to team. So again, serve the team, serve the song. Learn parts as your vocabulary. Don't learn them set in stone. Remember, the musical charts, they serve the room. You can scale back if it serves the song and serves the congregation. And finally, serve the moment, not your practice hours. You might have practiced like really awesome parts all week and come up with really awesome lead lines, but when Sunday comes, the arrangement breathes differently and the part might not fit. So be ready to drop it. Serve the song, serve the team, serve the congregation. And that's this channel's philosophy. Serving the song by playing less, doing less. So just a quick recap. If you want to be the kind of worship guitarist that the team wants to keep and isn't fighting in the mix, then that's what this whole channel is about. So subscribe and don't miss what's next. And if you're overplaying or you feel like you're cluttering the mix, I made a whole video on that, which is linked here. You can click on that. And by knowing why new guitarists get buried in the mix, you can better serve the team and serve the song. And serving the song is what we're all about. Now, real quick, let's just take a look at some pedals and some EQ setup so you can better understand this. So like I said here, I have Morning Glory by JHS, which is a transparent drive. And then I have the Herculean, which is a dual overdrive. Right side actually is another blues breaker circuit, and then the left side is a Klon circuit. And I'm running that into a Tonex with a Friedman BE100. So again, the amp itself is pushed, right? Like that's a Marshall style amp. So again, humbuckers, Marshall style amp. I've got a lot of mid-range going on already, but I want to be careful that it's not mud. So let's take a quick look at an EQ that I have on a soundboard pulled up here. It's just a 4-band, but you could sweep it. Okay, so from a audio tech standpoint, this is what this one soundboard looks like. But if I'm going in to tweak the EQ on your electric, for example, I can sweep the bass, the low mids, the high mids, and the treble. And by doing that, I can season your signal to taste. But again, we don't want to be putting the audio people in that position, right? No, we want to serve them and serve the song by sending them a pure signal that they can work well with and do minor tweaking of. Let's get this straight here. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you have a better understanding now of why you might get buried in the mix. And if you want some more insight or you disagree with any of these tips, please leave a comment. If you have ideas for how you could do this better or for other videos, please let me know. And I'll see you next time on Serving the Song.